Guys, Big Mo here from PTG. And one thing about predator hunting is you never know what's going to happen when you're out on a stand. You can't plan for every eventuality. And this is proof, guys. This is our Foxpro Crossfire that we've been using over the last year, and man, this thing is a fox and bobcat killing machine. It just brings them in. It seems to have the right pitch, right tone. Just an absolute wonderful piece of equipment. And unfortunately, it met with a tragic fate. We could not have anticipated that fox was going to go into that tree and go to this call. That just never really registered. I've seen foxes climb before. I've seen them jump. But this one, man, this one shimmied up that tree. Go to our YouTube channel, guys. You can see the death of the Crossfire. So we tried to fix it up, tried to run it still that day. Just wasn't happening, guys. The pitch and the tone are off now slightly. So that meant that the Foxpro Crossfire, it has to go. It's got to be replaced. I hate to say it. I really, really love this call. I hate to see it go. So it was time to upgrade. So we tried out some different models and just wasn't really finding what I wanted. You know, I want a replacement for that Crossfire, and frankly, I just wasn't finding it. So the guys over at All Predator Calls were real good. They worked with me, and so today we just got in a box from them. We went and upgraded to the Foxpro Fusion. I think this call is going to do what we want it to do. You know, we love supporting American-made companies like Foxpro. Made in America, real important. And this thing's got a ton of features. You know, it's got Fox Bang, so when it detects that shot going off, it's going to automatically go to a preset call. Love that feature. Can't tell you how many coyotes it's gotten. Let's see, Foxcast, so you can do your whole stand, set them all up in your remote so that, you know, you can hit that particular stand sequence. It's got Fox Motion in here. Gonna cycle it back and forth between the front and the rear speakers. I know that Foxpro says that you can play the front and rear speakers together for some real stereo sound. My experience, guys, has been that the rear speaker back here does not handle the higher pitch sounds that foxes and bobcats tend to like. So we'll see. We'll give it a try on this one and see what it does. Fox Fusion, we can mix sounds together. Fox Pitch, you can play with your pitch up and down, so you can take a call, run it, and go ahead and crank up that pitch and change it. And it might break a hung up predator loose. I've seen that happen before. And then, of course, the Fox data that you can put onto your remote so you can record things like pressure, moon phase, temperature. Lots of neat features on here. The TX1000 remote runs off of 3 AA batteries. Now, I know some people worry about the range that the TX1000 remote gets. According to Foxpro, it'll get you 100 yards. I personally hang my calls up off the ground in the air. On it, I like to clip that up in the tree. I like to clip it so that it hangs with that speaker up like that. The cone in the front, hang it up. That tends to confuse the predators, make them go around and start looking for it. It gives you the time to get a better shot on them. So personally, guys, you know, I don't know that having extra distance on the remote is going to necessarily be an issue for us. So it hasn't to this point. I don't usually set my call up for fox and bobcat that far anyway. So the Fusion is going to run off the same battery pack that the Crossfire runs off of. So you can run this off of your 8 AA batteries, but I found the batteries that you get from Foxpro are fantastic, guys. Front speakers on, rear speakers off. The TX1000 remote, I like what Foxpro did with this remote. I like the button layouts here. We don't have the preset buttons here on the main keypad anymore. We do have 4 preset buttons down the side here. That's nice. But this is a very intuitive remote, and I like that because as a caller, if I'm out there by myself, guys, I really can't afford to take my eyes off that call or scan in that area too often. So having something that's very intuitive, something that's easy to surf through really is important to me. This TX1000 is unbelievably easy. Power button right here, okay? So you hit and hold it, turn it on. Nice and easy, boots itself up. It's automatically gonna start on the main menu screen here. See favorite presets, and then on down the list, Foxcast. If I have a bunch of preset sequences, I can put those in Foxcast. I can build them on my computer. Then I got coyote, fox, bobcat, rabbit, rodent, general birds. You can scroll down. I've got quite a few on this one because I ordered it that way. So there are my favorite presets. I've already got 7 punched in, just a matter of minutes here. So it's quite easy to use. Then down here, select button here, scroll up, scroll down, volume, up, down, Fox pitch. The user button, auxiliary button, mute, and recall. Recall is going to recall the last one that we did. So I think the 1000 works great. I think this is a really good design. It's very intuitive, ergonomic, because I know predator hunters are all about ergonomics. We don't want to get hurt. So you don't want carpal tunnel when because you're running your remote too much, but.
So I spent a little time getting the remote set up the way I wanted it with all my favorites, and then I had to move on to one of my personal pet peeves, one of my personal hang-ups, which is the solid color of the Fusion body. It's my own hang-up, guys, but camouflage duct tape really helps me get beyond that. Not only does it make it look good, but I think it also helps the sound. Personally, I think it helps the call quality out a little bit, so I don't hesitate to throw some duct tape on this bad boy here. And the still solid colored areas I went ahead and attacked with a marker pen, so it looks pretty good now. I'm pretty happy with that. So I had to get my call ready, get all my other gear ready. So get my stool, get my hand calls, my lanyards. You always take out hand calls with you. Load out my rig and shotgun, and grab my Fusion and throw it in my man purse, and out we go the next morning. So AZ Bushman and I went out. This is him walking out on stand with the Fusion. We're going to put it out here, and we're working this berm that you see off to the left there. And on this stand here, this coyote came in, started off with a howl, and it ended up coming in on some rodent distress sounds. So we know the call clarity really worked there. Not only did the volume work, because obviously it heard the howl, but it also came in on that rodent squeaks. So the clarity is obviously there, at least good enough for a coyote. As we're going through our day, each of our stands gave us the opportunity to start using the Fusion in some different ways. On this particular stand, I've got the call located over to my right, out there over 100 yards away, so we know the Fusion will respond to the remote at that kind of distance. But in this stand, guys, what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to use the Fusion feature. So what I'm doing is I'm putting 2 calls together. I'm playing some puppy distress, and I'm playing some security sounds, some confidence sounds that coyotes like to hear, like magpies or crows. And so mixing those 2 in really could help those coyotes have confidence that what they're coming into is not really a dangerous situation. Now on this stand, I'm going to go ahead and try the Fox pitch feature on the Foxpro Fusion. So here I'm running a cottontail distress call. It's a high pitch call. It's one of my favorite, baby cottontail. And now I'm going to go ahead and trigger Fox pitch using the button on my TX1000, and that automatically moves me into being able to turn on or turn off the Fox pitch. So in this case it's off, so now I'm going to go ahead and switch it on, and then I'm going to go ahead and start pitching it. So right now I'm pitching it upward, making that baby cottontail call go even higher. So I know that foxes and bobcats really like those high pitch calls, and changing that's going to make a big difference. Now one of the cool features of this is that you can actually now pitch this call down, and so now you can hear that baby cottontail call, which is actually a pretty high pitched call, starts going deeper in tone, giving it a little bit more bass. I think this is going to work really, really well, especially when I get foxes or bobcats that get hung up, don't want to commit, don't want to come in right away. Then I can play with that. So on to a later stand in that day, coming up this creek bottom here, and in a previous trip out here that we had water down here. Now I'm walking through here, and I've seen the tracks, so I know this is going to be a good setup. I want to get that call up off that ground, give me all the range I can to control my Foxpro. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, and then I'm going to hang it up in that tree. And I expect bobcats to come straight down that wash at me, and foxes to come in from the sides. And so that's how I have my shooter set up, so that we can maximize this stand. Foxes come in from the side, they're probably going to get hung up underneath there and start circling, whereas bobcats will come straight down at us. Now on this stand, I'm going to go ahead and try another feature here, and I'm going to try the Fox motion feature. So I'm going to go ahead and trigger that on my remote. So again, my auxiliary button takes me in and kicks on my Fox Motion, and when it goes into Fox Motion, if you listen, guys, it sounds like that call is kind of swinging around, and that's because the call is swinging from the front speaker around to the back speaker. So it tapers off the front, turns up the back, and vice versa. And it really sounds like I have a rabbit kind of thrashing around on the ground, rolling around, and hopefully that would get a predator's interest to come in and take a look and present itself for a shot on it. But you really do have to be careful because, as I said, you know, that back speaker really doesn't like the higher pitch. I had some breakup on it, and that was one criticism I have, is I don't really think that back speaker can truly handle the high pitch calls that I typically run with foxes and bobcats.
We had a good weekend testing out the Foxpro Fusion, which is the newest addition to the PTG team. It was a really good call. So call clarity was awesome, just exactly what we thought it would be. It's every bit as clear as the Crossfire was for us. It has plenty of volume. Foxes, bobcats, we don't have to worry too much about volume with them. For us, it's the clarity, the tone, but it's nice to have that extra volume. Today it got a little windy on us, and I was able to crank it up and overcome that wind pretty easily with this. Tried this weekend, do some fox, bobcat, do some coyotes, and they all responded real well to this call. So absolutely, this call did exactly what we thought it would do. The remote range, yeah, we pushed it all the way out to the 100 yards, and it worked just fine. So I think a bigger issue that some people may have with their remote range has to do more with the altitude. If you put this thing too close to the ground, guys, you're going to lose a lot of that potential range. So get it up high, and we were able to push out past 100 yards. So that was no problem. We don't usually go out past that anyway on any given day. Big thumbs up for the TX1000 remote. Love this remote. Wasn't my first time using it, but boy, you know, getting to use it more and more every stand really made a difference for me. Love this remote. So if you guys are considering any of the newer Fox Pros, like the Fusion, the CS24, the Shockwave, anything that has the TX1000 remote, yeah, definitely thumbs up on this guy. I had heard that these burned up batteries pretty bad. These new ones only take 3 AA's, and mine still hasn't moved from the full charge position. So some of the features that I really liked about this remote and this Foxpro Fusion together, these two, Fox Pitch is a neat feature. Fox Pitch allows you to take one sound and spike it or drop it even, so we can get real high on the pitch or very low on it, get some more bass going to it. And those are kind of nice. You get something hung up, like sometimes you get a fox hung up and you want to break him free. And in the old days, I used to pulse the volume on it, and now I can Fox Pitch it and make a really good tempo call, multiple calls with the same one. Fox Motion will cycle the call from your front to your back speaker, and it really makes it sound like the call is moving. Again, I think that's going to be a neat feature for foxes, bobcats that might get hung up. You know, give them something to hear that's not normal. See if you can get them to break free. Probably one of my favorite features, though, Fox Fusion. Fox Fusion allows you to couple sounds together of your choice, your volume settings. This was great. I was able to do some puppy den raid sounds that mixed them up myself. Sounded really good. I did some bird calls, and I think that's going to be awesome. That's a real neat feature. And hey, baby, what you doing? You gonna help me? My cat Olive here, she was one of our test subjects of the Fusion. She really liked it. So, you know, I always use my pets, try to tell me if these calls are any good. So she liked it. She kept coming to it. She's a high-pitched lover, so she likes the higher-pitched sounds like the bowl squeaks and rodent squeaks and things like that. So the ability to switch the screen on here to go from in this case, the white screen here, which is the daytime view, and man, let me tell you what, this daytime view, man, that really works. We're out here in bright daylight the last couple of days, and you can see it clear. But if you go in, you can change that back to the standard Foxpro orange and black screen, and that works great. You know, today I did notice that sometimes this gets faded out a little bit by the sunlight, so it's nice having that daytime feature. If you're worried about these features on here, the TX1000 is packed, guys. Now, sure, there's features in here that I don't really necessarily use that much. I already know what my moon phase is. I know what my temperatures are. I know what my pressure is. I don't record any of that, take it with me. So Fox data is a marginal use to me. But for those of you that like to keep running log of your hunts, then that Fox data could be valuable to you. So overall, thumbs up to Foxpro. Good job with the TX1000. Loving that remote. And yeah, absolutely. This Fusion, I think, is going to end up racking up a heck of a lot of fur. For a lot of guys, you know, getting started out, you know, look, guys, here's the bottom line. Buy once, cry once, okay? So if you save your lunch money, guys, save your pennies. Go out there and, you know, maybe eat in a couple of nights and save those pennies and spend up and get the Foxpro Fusion. You won't be disappointed if you do that.